4 schools, 24 children battle for the winner of your #1 award-winning educative program, Enunciating Champ Season 1, from the 6th of May to the 15th of July 2022. A program designed to enhance our children's speaking skills with proper diction in their day-to-day communication at Penradio Live Studio every Friday, 8:30 a.m. Watch out for this program on Penradio Live. It's the Battle of the Enunciators. Let the battle begin and champions be revealed. Enunciating Champ, proper diction at its peak.
Today we have the round 2, all about theses. Are you super excited?
Yes, I am.
Oh, really? Seriously?
Levi looks so.
How about you, Kelly?
Oh, super excited.
So we have Junior Skills Academy. They will be going up against all the beginners.
Yeah,
definitely. And how is it going to be like, you know?
We can't say. Let's just wait for it. We can't say.
Well, what is even the topic? Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And we don't know other junior kids will be taking yes or proposing, or early beginners will be opposing. We are going to see that in a moment. And we have different ways of assessing. And that would be what we have. Can you help us out? The criteria for judging.
Okay, so the criteria for judging would be solid points, and then we also have contradictory points.
Okay.
We have total confidence in speaking and gesticulation, of course, how they're able to manipulate themselves in terms of body language and the rest of that.
Now, what do you think about the thesis? You know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Who are you rooting for? You're not rooting for anyone.
I'm not rooting for anyone, but I already have what I have in mind. But I want to be impressed.
You want to be impressed?
I want to be impressed.
You never can tell what can happen. But whatever it is, it's going to be about, and seriously, an interesting one for that matter. We cannot wait. I cannot wait, and they cannot wait. And they are the ones that will be, that will be the judge. That will be the judge, and trust me, it's going to be a super exciting one. So we will go on a short break, and when we return, the bout will commence. Okay, welcome back. This is Thesis, all about speaking properly with the right diction. And today's episode is all about thesis, where we have junior kids going up against Chris's early beginners. Sorry, I beg your pardon. Junior kids will be going up against early beginners to determine who will emerge as the winner. It's all about thesis, and the topic is breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And we are going right straight into the bout, where we have junior kids going up against early beginners. And the title is breakfast being the most important meal of the day. Who is saying no and who is saying yes? Who is proposing? Who is saying yes? Breakfast is the most important meal. Junior kids or early beginners? Who is that? Junior kids, alright. So, junior kids are saying breakfast is the most important meal, while early beginners are saying breakfast is not the most important meal. We have hand gestures, confidence, gesticulations, which is your hand gestures, your proper diction, speaking, and all that. I need you guys to ease attention, okay? So you have 45 minutes to go. So, according to alphabetical order, early beginners should go first by making the point, and of course we have contradictory points as well. So your time starts. Are we ready?
Yes.
Please be audible. Are we ready?
Yes, sir.
Good. Go.
For me, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day because it improves metabolism in the body, it maintains blood glucose level, it can raise our risk of obesity. Scientifically, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day because it helps in anti-aging, which is the natural process called autophagy. It is the removal of cellular junk in the body.
Can I ask you a question? If breakfast is not the most important meal of the day, how do we fix pregnant women? Where do we fix pregnant women? I believe some of them can be able to manage stuff to the afternoon or evening, but what about the unborn baby? That kind of idea that breakfast is not the most important meal of the day can lead to misleading.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What about your parents? Do they eat food when they go to work because they need to go early to go to work and they don't eat breakfast when they go to work? Do they?
No.
That's your question. They don't.
That is why we have snacks. We can also have snacks to take on our way to work, like fruits, even fruits for instance. Fruits, chips, or any other types of snacks you can see on your way.
Okay, what about the people under the bridge? Do they eat breakfast? They don't have money to pay for their breakfast, do they?
Breakfast does not necessarily mean buying food. Breakfast is also natural. You can find some orange seeds lying around and you can even plant your own fruits.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You have a parent, do you?
Yes, sir.
You have a parent? Okay. Do they eat food when they go to work?
No.
They don't, because they need to come early at home, right?
Yes.
Okay, another point for me is it helps in hormone growth. By skipping breakfast, do you know you can actually use your body to enter a safe ketogenic state?
Well, it is true about what you said. But just imagine, someone skips breakfast because he's trying to avoid adding more weight.
Yes.
And he's depending on his dinner. And he might end up taking more food in dinner, which he was trying to avoid adding more weight.
Okay.
I think that we have another people here. We have others, so they could also say something.
Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day because some people are, they say like all these Islamic people, they're fasting. And from what you said, that people under the bridge, and you said people that they can plant their own food. What if there are no, maybe they're not under the bridge, or they're not under a place that air can reach them? What if there's no food around them or nobody around them?
Food?
That is why food taken in the morning does not necessarily mean taking heavy foods. You can just take snacks like chips and fruits like pineapple slices, orange slices, and apple slices, so that you can be able to carry out your daily activities.
Let me add to its point. Yes, it said that where you are, that there's no food, you plant food. What if the place you are, that there's no air, no water, no good soil, no good seed, and some people they have food. They don't have food to eat. People that plant food.
Can I hold you right there?
Please, I'm not talking.
Ease attention. It's just a normal argument. Okay.
Yes, let me ask you this point again. Yeah, Ramadan people, they don't eat. They fast for 30 days. They don't eat food because they fast for 30 days. So people don't eat food unnecessarily. Skipping breakfast, you can actually put your body, can reduce your weight. Do you know that?
Well, it's not necessarily breakfast must be food. Even water can be breakfast.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If you take too much breakfast, will you not you add your weight? Do you add your weight if you take too much breakfast? Like in the morning you take breakfast, afternoon you take breakfast, night you take breakfast, even at midnight you can take breakfast. Do you know that you can actually be adding your weight? Your weight will be you'll be fat, you'll be chubby. But do you know by skipping breakfast you can actually reduce your weight?
Okay, Emmanuel, you can have other things to say too, and please ease the tension. Calm down, I understand. It's actually getting tense, and please, Genius Kids Academy, Emmanuel, you also have the right to say something, okay? Kayode, it looks as if it's only two people making the argument here. It's a discussion between the four of you. So if you have something to say, you are free to say it. So let's go, quickly.
Actually, why I strongly believe that breakfast is the most important meal of the day is because the skipping of breakfast could lead to the shutting down of the brain, a clinical disease also known as hypoglycemia.
Whoa, I didn't see that coming.
I get the point that you said, but one of those people that have, let's say, an organ disorder, maybe people that have kidney problems or maybe liver, any organ problem, would you, let's say the doctor said that person shouldn't eat for a week or a day, would you break the doctor's permission.
Rules.
No, that is true. But also, he said you should not take a food for a week. But that doesn't mean you can also take water. Let me ask, for example, do you know water can cure wounds in the stomach?
Oh.
Okay. I get the fact that you say water can actually cure the stomach in the liver. But what he said is, if you break the doctor's rules, do you know that if you take water and your bladder is not good, you know that the water might actually come out of your bladder? And you know that if you have kidney problems or stomach problems and you take too much food, when the doctor says you shouldn't take food, do you know that your stomach will be paining you and your kidney will be having a lot of problems, and the doctor will say that there's no more cure for it again?
That's why that doesn't mean we can't also do exercise. We can also do exercise to reduce our adding of weight, even though the doctor says there's no cure.
What if that person has maybe palsy, that person couldn't walk, or do anything?
Well, you can also lie down on the bed.
Is it just for a week?
No.
Okay.
You can actually have some other points too, if you have other points to make. Come on, let's go. The whole thing is getting hotter. Alright, Junior Kids Academy, Emmanuel, elder beginners, let's go.
Heavy labor workers such as bricklayers, stone breakers, wall diggers, or even truck drivers will need breakfast to carry out their daily activities, else they may die before their time or subscribe to their early grave.
What do you have to say about that?
People that are working, let's say, from what you said, bricklayers, they don't really, let's say, to get their strength. Like they could just go to the bodybuilding, or let's say do exercise.
Well, if you do exercise, you must surely have to take like some fruit or blend it into orange juice, apple juice, pineapple juice, or any type of fruit flavors you want to eat. It can also necessarily mean like apples. You can also take carrots, cucumbers, there are also vegetables like cabbage, like tomatoes, carrots, and cucumbers to give you high energy level.
What if those people are allergic to some things like vegetables or fruits? Maybe some fruits or cereal. And some foods they contain wheat, fats, and sugar. And you don't need much of those things. And if you have much of those things, you'll be getting more of calories.
That is true, but that doesn't mean you have to be taking sugar. There are also some natural foods that will help you increase your blood pressure.
Alright, so let's actually take a short break. The heat is getting on now. We will be back. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Junior Kids Academy, they are saying it is the most important meal of the day, while elder beginners are saying it's not the most important meal of the day. It's actually getting tense, so I will give them some time to take let's just say a quick recess, and when we come back, we will continue from where we stopped. Don't go away.
Support the opinion with what my fellow speaker just said. With a story my mom told me about her uncle that had a disease called ulcer. What is ulcer, may I ask? Ulcer is a wound in the stomach. So he went to the hospital and they gave him a checkup and found out that he had an ulcer, and the cure was that he shouldn't skip breakfast in the morning. And so I ask you this question: if breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day, why did the doctor strongly emphasize that he shouldn't skip any meal, especially breakfast?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you know that people that have liver problem and kidney problem and bladder problem, do you know if they take too much water, do you know that they might their water will come out? And when the doctor said they shouldn't take breakfast for 1 week, would they take breakfast, and would they prescribe, would they leave the doctor's permission? Would they leave the doctor's permission? Would they disorder it?
It is true that what you said, but that doesn't mean you don't have to take breakfast. You can also take fruits and water, like pineapples, oranges, and other fruits.
What of those people that are in prison? Do they eat? That are in prison, they don't eat. Sometimes the police forget that they have prisoners in their cells.
That is the consequences of the criminals being. That is the consequence of the criminals being hard on the police.
Okay, let me add to his point. He said that people in the prison, they don't have food, and the police might forget what they eat. What if they are sentenced to jail for 5 years and they don't eat for 5 years?
Actually, a body deprived of breakfast could lead to the shutting down of the brain, like hypoglycemia. But there is another disease because the body had acid and base, and if the body hasn't taken enough breakfast, that could lead to the increase of acid in the stomach and create a wound in the stomach.
Okay, for me, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day because it helps to maintain blood glucose level. You might be wondering why she's saying it helps to maintain blood glucose level. Because, let me tell you this, because if your blood glucose level is not where it's supposed to be, you might feel sick and the doctor might not find a way to prescribe a drug for you.
Haven't you ever wondered how people just walk and they faint? They sit down and they faint. Reason is because they lack glucose in the body. And if you don't have glucose, if you don't have enough glucose in the body, you cannot be able to carry out all of your daily activities.
From what you said, you need glucose, but too much of it. Too much of everything is not good, and if you have too much of glucose, it might bring too much of fat into your body.
I understand that question. Let me go to another point. I strongly believe that it's not everyone that will have time to eat his or her breakfast in the morning. Because they'll have to go to work early, and I believe some of them will not have time to eat his or her lunch in the afternoon because there will be much work coming unexpectedly. Hence, breakfast does not necessarily mean taking a large quantity of food, but small quantity in high quality that will make one's day.
Okay, for me, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day because scientifically it helps in anti-aging, which is a natural process called autophagy. It is the removal of cellular junk in the body.
Actually, breakfast enables people to develop healthier eating habits.
But I get that you said that breakfast enables people eating habits, but what of those Islamic people and what of those people that are maybe they don't have anybody in their houses, or what if there is a famine?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Your parents, do they eat food when they go to work? Like they skip their breakfast just to come early and they go early? Do you know that?
Actually, my parents, they don't really skip their breakfast. They eat their breakfast before they go to work.
And I would like to add another point to what my fellow co-worker has said. Breakfast, because adults don't really eat breakfast in the morning because they are very used to it, but our age, for children, we really have to eat breakfast.
What of those children, like maybe 1 to 4, that they can't reach the dining table, and their mom and dad have forgotten about them and they don't have anything to eat?
That is why the parents normally hire a house help so in case when the parents are out, the house help could just give them food to eat.
What of those beggars? Those children that are outside begging for food and help? What if nobody like pities them and nobody just walks to them and gives them anything? What would they do?
I believe of what you said, but not all children are begging for food. But some of them are just schemers. They know that their parents have money. They just want to bribe people to give them more money.
Okay, for me, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day because it helps. No, by skipping breakfast, you can actually encourage your body to enter a safe ketogenic state. Let me ask you a very good question. Do you know if you take too much sugar, fat, and glucose, do you know that you might actually be chubby? And if you take too much of that, do you know that you might be chubby and you might actually burst?
That is why we have vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, or vitamin D.
What if you don't know the times that you're supposed to take those vitamins? What if people are maybe illiterate and they don't know how much, or they don't know how to read? They don't know how much you're supposed to take. Maybe you're supposed to take one in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening, and they took more than one in afternoon, evening, and
that is why we have doctors, so the doctors can prescribe the medicine to them.
what if they don't have any money to buy? So they have only bought, someone helped them to buy all those drugs and they don't know how to use them because that person helped them, and they don't have any money to buy to go to the doctor.
That is why breakfast doesn't necessarily mean taking large quantity of food, like what my fellow speaker just said. You can take a light snack or fruits to enable your body to carry out your daily activities.
Okay, for me, breakfast is not the most important meal of the day because it can raise the rates of obesity and it can actually improve metabolism in the body.
Okay, thank you so much. This is what we call it. It's really, really an intense one. Thank you so much. I am really, should I say we're intense there? It got to a stage we all are all having it. Anyway, let's actually have a short break. And this is where we would call the end of today's bout between Genius Kids Academy and Early Beginners. So we'll take a commercial break, or a short break rather, and when we come back we would analyze and do just say an overview of what happened today, and after that probably we may call the result. We'll be right back. Okay, so welcome back to your #1 award-winning educative program. It is the first of its kind in Enunciating channel. It has actually been an interesting episode today, and it was really hot. What do you think about it first? I really don't have something to say. I really don't have something to say first, because I wouldn't say breakfast is the most important meal. Neither will I say breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. So there are a lot of, if we want to go on and on with this, trust me, we're not going to leave here. But before that, before we start talking about what they did, let me kind of go a little bit. What do you think? Actually,
From what they did.
no, not from what
My
they did.
opinion.
Your own opinion.
I think, okay, for adults, we can do without breakfast. But for kids, babies, they can't do without breakfast. So if we...
Okay, are you not saying that? Okay, let me keep you right there.
Yes.
So what about you?
Okay.
She's trying to be careful. She really don't want to say something.
Okay, for me, breakfast. It can be in two ways.
It's a way.
Your breakfast could serve as the most important meal for the day, and like one of the children said, it doesn't necessarily mean for you to take something heavy. You know, when you get the point water, I say, yeah, I can remember I've gone on water breakfast before,
Now
and
you
I
know
know
that.
that it serves so well. If you take warm water in the morning, I'm telling you, it's good to go as a breakfast in the morning. So it doesn't mean I have to eat noodles, I have to eat biscuit before I can say that I've taken breakfast. And whatever, yeah. So Chibi can have valid point, and he could like buttress his point so well. And every point he gave was so valid. Imagine when he talked about when he talks about exercise. The other point said, what if you don't have strength to do exercise? And he said, wow, you can actually lay on your bed and you are having a form of exercise. That's true.
I didn't hear that part, actually.
That's true. You can lay on your bed for a form of exercise.
Besides, I've never seen anyone who overdoses on vitamins.
Okay. Now for them, what do you think that they got wrong?
For Genius.
Yes, for Genius Kids Academy. Aside from
Literally, I don't think I was able to point out anything wrong with all their points.
So
I
what
can
about
say,
you?
I think
For the hand gesticulation for
they
Kids.
had Genius.
For Genius Kids, how about the gesticulation?
Yes,
The other guy,
they didn't have
Emmanuel, was
lots.
not really doing that.
At the first round, but
Yeah.
at the second, he got himself. He began to speak. Yes, that was when I actually enjoyed his point and his presentation. Yes, at the second round, but the first he wasn't doing much.
Okay, well, thank you all so much, and I know they are all waiting to hear the result, and this is where we would come to the end of the Enunciating Champ Round 2A. And it has actually been an interesting one about between early beginners and Genius Kids Academy, where the topic is all about thesis, breakfast being the most important meal of the day, and we will announce the results from the way things are going. It's really a strong one actually about, and we would announce the results right after the round 2B. The results will be out, but for now I think Starville is leading with what? 34 points. Yes, Starville is leading with 34 points. Early Beginners is actually leading, taking the second position with 27 points. Is it 27? Yeah, I think so. Am I correct? Yeah, 27 points. And Early Beginners, 27 points. And Christus Ark is actually going, 29 points actually. Christus Ark is going with 27 points. And Genius Kids Academy with 19 points. That was the first round. And the second round, the results will be out right after the round 2B. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining Penradio Official for being the sponsor of this great program on VE Consult. And I want to also appreciate my honorable, good-looking, wonderful judges in presence of Kenny and Lucy. Thank you all so much for coming. Alright, so on the 10th of June will be Starville going up against Christus Ark, where the topic will be bottled water or tap water, which is better. I really cannot wait for that one actually. Alright, thank you so much. We will be back on the 10th of June. Thank you. See you all later.
4 schools, 24 children battle for the winner of your #1 award-winning educative program, Enunciating Champ Season 1, from the 6th of May to the 15th of July 2022. A program designed to enhance our children's speaking skills with proper diction in their day-to-day communication at Penradio Live Studio every Friday, 8:30 a.m. Watch out for this program on Penradio Live. It's the Battle of the Enunciators. Let the battle begin and champions be revealed. Enunciating Champ, proper diction at its peak.